What's up, y'all? This is another episode of Strangers Club TV, and we back here in my city. This is very special to me, and I know that the city is going to appreciate this one as well. Special guest today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's City's own man, Kris further known by Canton, your local barber. For sure, it's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you for taking this time, Kris. Man, I've been looking forward to this for a long time. Your story is very, I'll better yet say your testimony is very special, man. So let's get right into it. Let's start off by talking about where are you from?
Originally, I was born in Canton, Ohio, raised up in Akron, and then came back down here my sophomore year in 2017 and finished out in McKinley. Went to Firestone. Sorry, I left that out. Went to
That's
Firestone for my freshman and sophomore year up in Akron. Played football, ran track, and then I transferred down here my sophomore year and just ran track for McKinley. Graduated 2019. Go Bulldogs.
Hey, go
Yeah,
Bulldogs
go
for
Bulldogs.
sure. Yeah, go Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was it like growing up for you, being in Akron and Canton? Start by talking about your relationship with your parents. Were they together?
No. Unfortunately, my father, and it's good because my mom, she cool with this too, because I already let her know. But my father actually raped my mom, and so I never got the chance to actually meet him. He could actually probably walk past me, I probably wouldn't know him. But my mom was a single mother of four. I got an older brother, and I got two younger sisters, and it was pretty much her and my grandma in the house growing up. While my mom was working a job, my grandma would probably watch us, until we went to, coming in and out of school, in and out of sports, stuff like that. So the household growing up was just my mom and my grandma. So, yeah.
Oh my God, man! You
Yeah,
just
man.
dropped a bomb right there, man.
Yeah, man. Started off, that's how you know it's a blessing.
Yeah,
We're supposed to be here. It's a purpose behind this, for sure.
most definitely. I just want to say, man, your mom is very strong.
Oh,
She's
most
very
definitely.
strong,
For sure.
and I'm
God
sorry
bless
that happened to her, but
Bless you.
but I'm thankful that she didn't make the decision to not have you.
Amen.
Because
Definitely.
that's a story in itself, and man, we don't always know what God has for us, but if we stick it out, we can see the other side that God can always turn a bad into a good. So man, I just want to say right now, I love you, man. I'm glad you're here.
Love you too, man.
Um,
Appreciate you having me, man. For
I
sure.
appreciate you again for getting the story out. So let's continue on. What were some of the things you experienced, being in a household of four and a single mother?
Well, really, since me and my older brother, we're like a year and 6 months apart. So for a while, we was really one grade apart. Elementary school, I was a little bit more, I should say, a little bit more like energetic in classrooms, if you will. It
Yeah.
wasn't that I was a bad kid. I just couldn't sit down or couldn't stop talking or couldn't stop laughing. So I found myself like battling with like the tension and having to sit by the teacher's desk and stuff like that, because I was always, even as a kid, that my influence would shift the room. You know what I'm saying? I never really understood that. The teacher would always be like, well, Kris got so much potential, but if he just used it for the right things, then he don't know how many people will actually follow behind him and do better. So school, I went to it's a school called Edge Academy. We had to wear uniforms up in Akron from first grade all the way to fifth grade. You had to have your shirt tucked in. You had to wear a black or brown belt, black or brown shoes. You couldn't have like designs and stuff like that. And this is a part of the time where I just started messing with the clippers. So I had to refrain from doing like certain designs and certain parts and certain hairstyles. But after that, and mind you, this is in Akron. We definitely always played sports. My mom would be working her job at AMR, which was American Medical Response, and she did like the billing for any transportations you got on an ambulance. So she got free. Her kids got free ambulance rides, which came in handy due to me and my brother playing football, getting injured and stuff. So we probably would have ran up a good tab. You know what I'm saying? But grace to God, man, He allowed her to have that job at the time that we was playing them sports. But yeah, that's pretty much growing up. I mean,
Not,
she's, you know,
I want to stay on this topic for a little bit
yeah,
because when you talk about not having a father,
yeah.
what did it mean to have that relationship with your coaches?
Oh man, bro. You know, it's crazy because a lot of people that grow up, a lot of black males that grow up without fathers, um, tend to say, they ain't have nobody, and fortunately enough, I didn't have that type of story. God put in place coaches, uncles, grandfathers, just different individuals that was God-fearing men that was actually doing the right thing, being real men, and could be a real example. So I came in contact with a lot of them. Even in the church, grew up in the church. I played the drums at church for a while because my mom was the head singer and my grandmother uh, played either played an instrument or they sung in the church choir. So, and that's the type of household it was a faith-based household for sure.
And how did that impact your relationship with God early on? Like, did you have a good understanding of who God was?
You know, that's a good question because my grandmother's the one who actually like poured into me about faith because I was out of repetition. We went to church and out of repetition you would praise God, but you really never knew what you was praising God for or never really understood because we was we kids we don't really understand the seriousness on having a relationship and actually having faith in a spiritual sense. So my grandmother, shout out to her, she always used to carry a little baggie with a grain of mustard seed and had a small scripture on there, and she would always repeat it. And I never understood that until I got older, and I was like, man, that's the little bit of faith you need to tell a mountain to move. So that always resonated with me. But it helped me. It helped me understand certain things I dealt with growing up, even getting out of the household with my mom and actually facing life face to face. So growing up in the church definitely helped me. I'd say that for sure. And I always kept a good relationship with God, and it got stronger and stronger. Shoot, even now I'm getting stronger and stronger in my faith. So I thank God for that.
That's major, man. That's major, man. What a great blessing it was for you to have that type of love and that type of spiritual foundation early on, man, because it's very much needed. It's very much needed. So,
Sure.
man, big shout out to your family, to your aunts, your mom,
Yeah.
your grandmother. Big shout out to them.
Shout out to
For
them
sure.
for sure.
So let's talk about high school.
Okay.
What high school did you start off with? Because I know you talked about transitioning from Akron to you said Firestone, right?
Yeah, Firestone High School, which is actually it's located. Some people, if you from Akron, they'll say it's Fairline, but most people will say it's just like the outskirts of the West Side. But I ain't gonna say it's a preppy school. It's a public school.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of rich kids and it's a lot of neutral kids that go there. So like, it was different. You either had money or you didn't have money, and it showed. It showed. It definitely showed through your clothes. Hey, people. One thing we was big on in Akron was like wearing like designer belts and stuff like that. So if you had like a belt, especially freshman year, people would ask to like, hey, let's see the codes on the belt to see if it's a real belt or not. Like they would go to the furthest extent to verify if you was solid or not. So you definitely had to debate, man. You had to have tough skin. People would talk about you, man, in sports and off the field. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely had to have thick skin and you had to be able to defend yourself. But I was always a neutral kid. I always, stayed to myself. I fooled with who fooled with me. I never was like a follow the leader type of dude. But I was always a silly type of cat. Even moving down here, ended up coming to school to McKinley, had cousins, didn't even know. That was one thing that was beneficial moving from Akron to Canton. I didn't have no family, no cousins, no uncles, no aunts. Everybody was based in Canton. So I definitely, I was glad we transitioned for sure.
So freshman year, What was it like to be around, the different types of students, coming from different backgrounds? How did that shape the way that you perceived just life in general? Like, did it make you feel a certain kind of way about yourself, or you felt like you had to go about things a certain way to feel accepted?
One thing I definitely thought about was just the different personalities I came in contact with. Like even we'll say like the preppy kids or the kids that they parents made a way for them so they could have like a car they freshman year, sophomore year. I started to look at that different, not being so jealous, but like man, oh man, I desire to have that for my kid. Like that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? They shouldn't have to get kicked out at 18. Not saying that happened to me, but it's, you know what I'm saying, it happens a lot in our community. You get kicked out at 18 and you got to hurry up and figure it out. But shoot, Firestone definitely showed me what type of people you would like to be, or what type of people you don't want to be. That's high school in general. Let me just say that across the board. High school showed me what I wanted to be, or what I liked and what I didn't like. How I wanted to treat people. You know what I'm saying? I always was a neutral person, so I would talk to, people that wasn't so known, or people that was known, people that played in
Band.
the band, you know what I'm saying? And people that ran track, all type of stuff. Everything. So high school definitely taught me a lot. I say that it shaped my life in probably the direction it is now, because I was always cutting hair too. Mm-hmm. That was the main thing. I just had started picking up my clippers in like 8th grade, and by the time I was a freshman, my lines was not, I ain't gonna say they was perfect, but they was tight enough for people to be like, hey man, who cut your hair? Yeah. And I had enough confidence to be like, hey, I cut my hair. And I'll never forget sophomore year, like nobody believed that I cut my hair until I went live one time, and I was just in the bathroom with the three-way mirror, and I'm just giving myself a fade. And at the end, bro, I was like, man, I told y'all, like, I cut my hair. And after that, bro, people had confidence, and my friends started leaving they barbers that they've been fooling with since forever, since they was knee high, and started allowing me to cut their hair. And that definitely boosted my confidence in even being a barber. So high school shaped my way, and it shaped my life in the way it went today. And I even met my fiance in high school too. Shout out her. Yes. Shout out her, man.
Shout out to her for sure.
For sure.
And we'll definitely get more into how you started off, with barbering and stuff like that later on. Cause now, man, I say it right here. You definitely one of the best, if not the best, in the city. In the city, man.
God bless you.
For sure. So let's talk about coming down here to Canton, McKinley. Now, for those that don't know, man, from Firestone to McKinley is almost I say it's black and white. It's two different things, man.
For sure.
So let's get into it. What was it like your first day here at McKinley?
Bro, first day at McKinley was actually, I wasn't even supposed to be there till the next day. I actually came a day early, and they gave me my my schedule. And I'll never forget, I was walking upstairs before they told me to leave, because I wasn't supposed to be there. I'm checking out my classrooms, and before I made it to my first classroom, I'll never forget, man. All I heard was scuffling, like just feet moving, and I turned the corner, and I kid you not, bro, somebody was just getting stomped out.
Oh my
crazy
gosh.
Book bag. I'm talking about book bags moving, jackets moving, hoodies moving, and they just stomping them out, and I'm like, whoa, what? It's crazy. Then, as I continue to walk straight, I see the two biggest dudes I ever seen in my life, man, which was Reggie Corner Jr. and Josh Chandler. And at the time, bro, McKinley was, I think they was like 8-0. I'm like going from Firestone that would like lose. We would play St. Vincent, St. Mary, and then Massillon the next week. Like we always would just get blew out. So it was a big transition. Athletes was real athletes, up in Akron, bro. If you played football, they workouts was nowhere near as intense and NFL combine like McKinley is. You know what I'm saying? It's like he said, it's day and night difference for sure. But them was the first two things I seen when I got to McKinley, man. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna like it here. I think this gonna be cool. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it, bro.
You see somebody get stumped out. I'm about to have a good time here.
Day.
So
Crazy.
were you used to seeing stuff like that?
I was used to seeing fights, because like growing up in Akron, like every every party, every function ended with a fight. Like if it wasn't, this is before like people was shooting. I'm talking about like the 2014, 2015,
Yeah,
2016.
2012s, yeah.
You feel me? Yeah. Like when we just used to just squabble. So I've always been used to fighting, but not me personally. I just been used to seeing it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it wasn't no different than
Were
me
there
going to
any moments like, you know, during you seeing these different kind of fights that kind of shifted your perspective, like dang, like stuff can really happen in a quick second.
Yeah, yeah, because you know we used to get to school at like freaking early, like 7 something in the morning, and people would be on that. They'd have been
Yeah.
arguing on Facebook, on live, on their comments, on posts all night the night before, and bring it right to the school. Like everybody that's gonna see this, they know that. Like people used to just be fighting, and majority of the time it'd be females. Because the guys, bro, you would push, and as soon as you would, you know, call somebody out their name, bro, security running. They trying to get to you before you even lay a hand on them, and they giving you 10 days. They know that. They give you 10 days. For real. So it wasn't even worth it. Guys knew it wasn't worth it, but females used to just tear up. But definitely was used to it, bro. But it was other stuff going on. You know, it was the teacher situation with the gym teacher. You know, messing around with different students. You know, so it was different. I never encountered that at Firestone. Not saying it wasn't happening, but I never encountered that.
So let's talk more about your experience at McKinley.
Yeah.
What would you summarize it like from your sophomore to graduation? How would you summarize it?
How would I summarize it, man? I don't know, just a all in all learning experience, because high school it teaches you educational things, books and stuff like that. But all in all, McKinley especially taught me like how to move in life. Like it was different teachers that would be telling us like real life stuff. Like
What
they'd
kind
be
of
like,
teachers?
you know,
Name 'em.
shout out, even though I really didn't like him, but shout out Mr. Oli, man. That was my math teacher, and I really didn't have a good grade in his class for real, because we always get into conversations about other stuff. It'd be real life stuff to the point we wouldn't even end up doing our work. And I didn't do my work for like a whole year in math class. Like math class was never my strong suit. I liked history, black history at that. You know what I'm saying? What else was I into? I was into art. I always liked art. Drawing and pottery. I was in pottery at Firestone, but when I transferred to McKinley, they didn't offer that class. So that came to a halt for sure.
What did you ever play sports?
Yeah, track. I ran track from 6th grade all the way to senior year. The only year I didn't run track was my junior year, because I came below. I tried out a little too late. I played football from the age of 9 all the way to like 17, and then I stopped. I had got too many concussions. I think I had got like 5 or 6 concussions.
Oh man.
And after that, it was over with. I think my last game was Firestone versus McKinley, 2017, and I ended up hitting face mask to face mask, and that was my last concussion. My mom was like, "Yeah, you're done. It's over with."
That's crazy. So your last high school football game was against your former high school?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy. So I wanna get more into the academic side, because
Yeah.
nowadays we got more access to information than ever before. So
yeah.
did having the technology that we have, did it affect you when it came to academics? Like, because you talked about being interested in black history,
Yeah.
did it kind of shift your perspective on the information that was being given to you as far as going to school? Like, how did it impact you?
You know, you started to see through the loopholes, especially at school, through the technology now, especially TikTok. Like TikTok it wasn't as heavy as it was back then when we was in high school. But now I say, especially the kids that go to school now, man, it make it hard to believe like the certain curricular stuff that they teach you. You know what I'm saying? Especially because you can go in depth about black history, or about stuff you never even learned about. Because they used to just like teach you about Indian, Native Americans, and how the United States was built, and it'd only be a little bit. It wouldn't talk about like different black infrastructures or different places where the black community was thriving until everybody got killed. It would be certain things that would happen, and then you would find out. You'd be like, man, I didn't know that we was thriving like that. I just thought we was just slaves or dumb black folks and stuff like that. That's what they'd make you think. But shoot, now that you got this phone that you can just look up anything and go in depth on research, right? It definitely make it hard to believe certain stuff. So it made it hard. It made it hard because, shoot, I think in high school we had to take I can't even tell you what the class was, but to try to graduate to get our credits. Because I think I started my senior year with like 16 credits, and I think you needed like 22? Was it like 21 or 22 credits to graduate?
Not sure.
And we took, we had to take these classes on the computer, and that's how that's how a lot of us ended up graduating, for sure. Because we were so into real life, bro. We was too before our time. I'd say that.
Do you think it's important for us as black people to learn black history?
Yeah, definitely. You got to see what people that look like you are capable of. Because you more than just a baby dad. You know what I'm saying? You a real king. It's kings out and queens out here. But we don't be able to activate the king and queen in us due to the information that's given to us. You know what I'm saying? They make you, I ain't even going to say they make you think less of yourself. They just don't tell you what you are capable of, for sure.
That was well said, man. So let's talk about post-graduation. How did it feel to graduate high school?
Oh, it felt good. It felt real good because I thought I wasn't going to graduate. I didn't say this in the beginning, but first grade and third grade, I had got held back. This is before that they implemented that no child left behind type of deal. So first grade, I told you I would be laughing and messing around. They tried to say I had ADHD, but I never conformed to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Same.
I never took medicine. I never did none of that. I just was very energetic, and I couldn't sit down, so I would stay in detention and stuff like that. So I hit a point.
Let's talk about first and third grade.
First and third grade. The first grade, it was because they said I wasn't doing my work like quick enough or something like that.
You're in first grade.
Third grade, my best friend's mom was our teacher. And it wasn't until like we graduated high school, we were on the phone and he told me, he was like, man, I don't even understand why they held you back again in the third grade, because my mom told me that, you know what I'm saying, you was doing the work up to par, you wasn't being slow and nothing, you was grasping everything that was being taught. But so that third grade, I never really understood that, but it made me think about stuff like, because I was always a year or two older than everybody else, so it was always more expected of me throughout school, because they'd be like, hey man, you older, you can't just be doing what people a year or 2 years younger than you doing. That applied not only in school but in sports. Like I started football late, so when I was 9, they put me on like the 7U team.
Wow.
Because the 9U team was already, they was like, hey, no, we ain't add no more people. I was like, dog, okay, so I gotta play with them. So it always was something I used to talk to my mom about, but she used to tell me something funny like, hey, just don't tell kids your age. I'd be like, mom, like they gonna ask me how old I is, like they always ask me my age.
I'm 7. That's how.
You know what I'm saying? So that was something funny, but that definitely that kept me on my P's and Q's too, because I always was older than people, so I always had to be some type of example.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Some kind of leader.
Yep, for sure.
High school, post-graduation. That's what we went back to.
Okay. Oh yeah. Post-graduation, it seemed like a weight was on our shoulder for some reason, because when you about to graduate, it seemed like you ain't gonna never graduate until you actually do.
Yeah.
It just seems like a thing that you like, oh yeah, one day, and then it happens, and then you're like, okay, now it's real life. It's no longer wake up, go to school, the bus gonna get you, you know what I'm saying? But if you going to college, hey, shout out to them people that go to college. I wish I would have tried it. I still can try it, but I got into a trade, and I love what I do. I love what I do.
Did you have any plans of going to college, or what was your
Yeah,
plan following
yeah,
graduation?
yeah. I wanted to go to a HBCU, and it wasn't until Mr. Terrence, shout out Mr. Terrence, he took us to a HBCU um, tour. We traveled to Atlanta, Georgia. We
Shout
went
out
to
Clark Atlanta.
yeah. We went to Clark. We went to Morehouse. Um, I think them was the only two.
Y'all go to Central State?
We did. We went to Central State. That's what it was. Um, and after that, seeing so many people that look like me on the same campus, I was like, oh, this got to be fun. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, bro, I like to kick it. At the time, I'm like, bro, I just don't want to go into debt. I don't want to waste nobody's time, especially not mine. So I didn't end up going. I ended up going to barber college like 2 years after I graduated.
Did you work any jobs beforehand?
I did. I worked 3 jobs. My first job, shout out Kirsten Bell. She got me a job at the Wendy's on Everhart Road, man. And my first day I started there, everybody quit at McKinley.
Wow.
It was like 4 people that went to McKinley that quit. So I worked at Wendy's by myself, the only McKinley student, and everybody else was like from Glen Oak, Jackson, and Massillon. So and then my second job, I worked at JCPenney's with everybody at McKinley, seasonal. That kind of helped my communication skills, talking to older folks. That's an older crowd, JCPenney's. They got their regular folks that's been shopping with them for 40 plus years. So working there for 8 months, that definitely helped with my communication skills for sure. I forgot about Burger King. I literally worked at Burger King for 1 day. Not even a day. It was maybe like 30 minutes. My mom got me the job because it was a time where I was just looking for a job. I was trying to buy some clippers, and I just couldn't. I didn't want to work at JCPenney's no more. So I ended up getting my mom to get me into Burger King on Whipple, man. And my first day I got there, they was like, yeah, we gonna have you work the mornings. And they had me on the eggs, and I seen how they made their eggs.
Yeah.
And it was like water and steam.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, that
wow.
steam blew back in my nose. I almost threw up. And I told the manager, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to do this. Like, and I walked home from Whipple all the way to Fulton at the time. I was just crying. I was like, dang, man, I can't work no job. I can't find no job, man. Something gotta give. Like, I don't know what's going on. It's that I just didn't know what was gonna go on.
Yeah.
And this is leading up to graduating. I'm like, bro, shoot, real life about to be dead in my face. Like, I didn't have slim to none responsibilities. I was living with my mom. The most I had to pay was like $50-something for a phone bill. That was
Nothing.
That's nothing. I wish. What? And I was over there stressing. That's the funniest part. But yeah, man, I worked at a car wash on Cleveland for a week. Worked that job until I was like, man, I can't do this. The first day, you got to be there by like 7:30. And if you came at like 7:35, they didn't care how far you came from. They didn't care if you rode the bus or walked. It was not getting you, and you wasn't getting paid that day, so you had to just leave.
Oh, man.
So it was an urgency for you to be there on time or before on time. And I got there, and the first day they tell us, like, hey, your first day here, you only get paid $15. He's like, what? Now, mind you, I still know how to cut hair. I wasn't charging that much. I was probably charging $10 at the time.
Yeah.
But I was like, dog, I could have cut 2 heads. I remember I washed 30 cars. I counted. I was like, dang, $15 for 30 cars. My hands was hurting because I had to be not the squeegee guy, but I had to spray the rims, and I was washing the rims, man. So my back was burning, my hands was hurting. I'm like, for $15, but you get paid every day. That was the catch. So the next day, I came back, and I was like, man, I wonder how much he gonna pay me today. And it was like $20, $25, $30. And I think I worked until I made $40, and then I just quit. And that was it. That was my last job. I was like, bro, it's over with. I can't.
Wow, man. So, and I think that is so pivotal for you to talk about, because for you to go from that to being in the trade, man, I think it's important for today's youth to understand that you gotta have a solid foundation, and that's one thing that I always try to vocalize and emphasize, not only in real life but
Yeah.
on my platform, is that if we have a career, we
Yeah.
can have something solid that we can actually progress in. Because like you talk about working these different miscellaneous jobs, you're just trying to make some money and figure things out rather than educate yourself. So
Yeah.
before we get into you becoming a barber and further down your career path, let's talk about your musical career. How'd you get
Okay.
started with that, man?
Okay. So like I told you,
And personally, but
yeah.
before you start,
Yeah.
I say this on camera, and I'm gonna say it on camera.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, you one of the most talented people from the city of Canton, man. As far as music goes, I can actually
appreciate that.
play your music and keep playing it and keep playing it because of the quality and because of your sound, man. It's unique, and I just want to say, man, great artist, great artist,
I appreciate that.
for
You
sure.
gonna make me go harder. So like I was saying, faith-based household. Grew up in the church. Played the drums. So I was always around like music and tunes. So that's where it gravitated from. Just hearing church music, gospel music, Fred Hammonds, the Kurt Franklins. You know what I'm saying? Real soul gospel music, and I always would sing. Always had a mic right by the drum set, and I'd be singing praise and worship, or it would be tithe and offering, and they'd always call me to sing something. So that's where music came from. So I started making music, actually recording, because people used to be very stingy with their studios. Nobody ever wanted to tell me nothing. So the first time I ever recorded wasn't until my senior year, but I always was writing music. So I had a whole boatload of stuff trying to get done at the studio when I started being able to like network with different producers and stuff like that. But I never confided in like a team to be able to actually make something work. You know, we like to make music for our peers and for our personal listening. But shoot, I know it's and I've heard it from yours truly, my boy Elijah. It's some good music that need to get put out and promoted the right way. So I'm gonna take that into consideration, and I'm gonna do that for y'all. I'm gonna do that for y'all for sure.
I look forward to it, man.
For
You
sure.
know, like I said, I love your music.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
What was the process like recording your first song?
Man, it's a funny story. I was running a track meet, man. I'm running a track meet, and my guy, shout out Keith Dye, he got me to my first recording session, and it was by my boy Frankie Woo Wop at 1807 Studios downtown. And after I got done running my 200-meter race, I still had my uniform on and my cleats. And my boy, I was supposed to run the 400, and I ran out this, like I left the whole track meet. And I ran with my spikes on, jumped in his car. We rode from McKinley down the Hall of Fame all the way over here downtown. And shoot, we got into the studio. So I recorded my first studio session with the whole tracksuit on, cleats and on.
What was the song?
The song was Fantasy. It was called Fantasy.
Yeah, that was a slap, man.
That was a banger. The ones that know, that was I actually after I recorded that, I didn't have nothing to put it on. This before I even had SoundCloud. I didn't make a SoundCloud till like 2-3 months after this. But at the time, after the producer had sent me the song, he taught me how to airdrop it. So we was learning all type of stuff back then. So I learned to airdrop it, and I put it for everybody, and I just airdropped it every single day for like a week straight. I would skip class and go to the lunchroom, because that's where you got the best Wi-Fi at, bro. And I would just airdrop it, and then that was my first song. And by the time I put it on SoundCloud, bro, it was getting 1K freaking cycles every single day for 20 days straight, and then it stopped at 20K. But I wish I would have just took the right steps to keep that momentum going, because that was definitely, it's still something special. Anytime if you drop, and this is for anybody that make music right now, if you make music, it could be years ago, but if nobody heard it, it's new to the world. So that's a gem right there. You can always keep that in your back pocket and drop soon, but you can always drop. And that's something I try to keep in my head for sure.
And I want to say, man, fantasy. If you from the city, if you from Akron, if you from any surrounding area, you heard that song, man. I'll go out on a limb and say that's equivalent to Bryson Tiller's "Don't," man.
Bang.
That song was crazy.
Don't.
I actually
Banger.
thought when I first heard it, I thought it was Bryson Tiller singing the song. I promise you, I did, man. That was the quality.
Hey, good
that
quality.
was the quality, man.
Good
Amazing.
quality. Shout out that engineer, man.
For sure.
For sure.
So now you did a song with we call him Brave because he's from the city, but Block Ball Out.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Shout out my boy. That was my dog. Actually, funny story about him. Side quest. My first week at McKinley, I never skipped class. I never skipped school a day in my life till I came to McKinley. And my boy Brave, further known as Block Ball Out, he took me out my class, man, and we ended up walking, and we got caught on phone roll. Walking by the security guard, Mr. Anthony. Everybody know, if you went to McKinley, you know the security guard, Mr. Anthony, bro, 2019. Sure. And he was like, he pulled up beside us, man, and Brave he always had long locks, but he had his hoodie up. And the security guard pulled up right next to us, and Brave told me to look straight. He was like, hey, bro, this security guard, look straight. Security guard like, Brave Jones. Oh, so you gonna act like you don't hear me, huh? Brave he said, keep walking. He said, you act like I don't see them dreads hanging out that hoodie. He said, okay, I'll let the principal know. And my heart beating. He like, bro, just keep walking. I'm like, but I ain't never skipped class before. He was like, bro, we gonna be fine, bro. The next day we walk in, he pulled us to the side. He was like, hey, man, don't disrespect me like that again, man. When I say something, bro, just talk to me, man. And he left it at that. But bro, I was so scared. And after that, I was like, oh, so you can skip. And it took a turn. It took a turn.
For sure. Man. So, music. Let's talk about, there was an incident that happened.
Yeah.
Life-changing incident.
Yeah.
Let's get into that.
Yeah.
Now, but, okay, before we do, let's talk about how did you get into barbering? What was your first time touching the clippers that made you want to further that following graduation?
First time ever touching a clipper, I was in middle school, and I was either in the 6th or 7th grade. Excuse me. But I remember that my barber used to always like round my corners, and I used to always ask him, well, excuse me, can you please just make my line up straight, like just real sharp? He would always round my corners off, and I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna just line myself up. And I went home as soon as he got done cutting my hair, just trying to sharpen my corners up. Y'all, why did I mess my hair up way more than the barber could have ever did? You feel me? And that happened for a while until I actually learned the fundamentals of cutting hair.
How'd you learn?
Watching, shout out 360 Jeezy. He was just in the shop right here in this chair.
Wow.
Last October.
That's
Shout out
crazy.
360 Jeezy came to the city for the wave competition. But I used to watch him. He was one of the pioneers of the barber content era. So watching his step-by-step tutorials, Beam, shout out him from Chicago with the Tune 45. He definitely did the step-by-step fading and had clean, sharp, with enhancements and without enhancements, all natural cuts that I definitely gravitated towards and use to this day. Shout out to people, my stepdad, Keenan Hughes, taught me how to be cleanly, you know, with the clippers. You know, at first when I started cutting my hair, I really didn't know how to keep them clean and stuff like that. I cut my hair, leave hair on them. You know, he got me with the cool care, spraying it off, you know what I'm saying? But my first clippers I used was my mom's clippers. She always been doing hair. She's been a cosmetologist since the age of 19. She used to work at, everybody know if you're from Canton, the Mellet Mall. She used to work there. And she always had these old pair of clippers, and I just used to be doing whatever, man, for the first couple years until I actually started, like, I wouldn't even say taking it serious. I just started out of repetition from doing it so many times. I started getting a little bit crispier, line a little bit straighter, face a little bit blurrier. But yeah.
What was it like getting your first customer?
Shoot, it was nerve-wracking because my brother was my very first customer. That's why he still get free cuts to this day. Shout out, bro. Shout out my big brother, man. He was the first person to trust me with, and I didn't even have trimmers. It's trimmers and it's clippers. The trimmers is used for the lineup. The clippers is used for the bulk to cut your hair off. I was using the bulk clippers. You feel me? Very sharp joints to line him up. And he used to be sitting there, take the pain, man. And for a long time until I upgraded, got enough money, and learned my clippers and my trimmers. And shoot, he just let me used to cut his hair. But he always kept it at 3,000 with me. He was like, hey, man. Yeah, this line crooked. He'd lean up every time. I thought I just iced him. And at first, for the first couple years, I think for like 3 years, I used to get mad every time he do that. I'd be like, damn, like, he don't think I'm crispy? Like, what's going on? But he don't even know that I actually let him know. But at the time, he didn't know that was actually making me better. So that kept me sharp, bro. Shout out, bro.
Yeah, shout out, bro, for sure. Now, let's talk about getting professional. Levels Barber College.
Levels Barber College. First black-owned barber college in Canton, Ohio, man. Shout out Mr. Rodney Dennis for making opportunity, a plethora of opportunity for everybody. Black, white, Asian, young and old, big and tall, everybody. 2021 is when I got notified from my fiance's mom that they was opening up a barber college, and it was months before it was actually like something serious. Like, it was just in the air going around, and I didn't believe it until I seen it. And one day, I think it was like April of 2021, I get a call from Miss Washika Brown, and she like, yo, they giving out free scholarships to Levels Barber College from 12 to 2. Like, go down there like right now. Go down there right now. So at the time, I was at my mom's house, and my stepdad Keenan, he was sitting next to me, and he ended up just taking me because they live right down the street. So they ended up taking me, and he ended up getting a scholarship right with me, which was a blessing. I was like, dog, just off the strength, he just took me. If I had to walk, it'd just been me. But I was like, bro, we both got to experience barber college together. So that was an amazing experience as well. And then my fiance was obviously the front desk lady. So not only was I with my stepdad, I was with my fiance the whole time I was in barber college. So that made it easier too, for sure.
That's special, man. That's special to be able to cultivate that craft with your family. Great story. So when did you graduate?
I graduated 2022 because it's a 10 and a half month program. But then I had to go back because you get 2 times to take your state board, and I failed the 2 times. I had to go back and do an additional 200 hours. So altogether, I did 2,000 hours a year program at Barber College. So which made me even better in my craft than I could have even asked for. So I enjoyed the whole process of even failing. I had to go back 7 times. So I try to encourage everybody that has to go to state board, whether you're a cosmetologist or a barber. If you fail, man, keep going back. Because you didn't do all of that time for nothing. You didn't study all of them nights or do all of them hairstyles and haircuts and sometimes not getting a tip for no reason. So if you do fail, and it's a lot of people that do, man, keep going. Because I tell people, I was the first person to graduate, but I wasn't the first person to get my license at Levels Barber College. So I never let that deteriorate where I wanted to go in life with this craft, and I just kept going. So the 7th time, and it was because I wasn't studying. I never was really hard on just cracking down on myself and actually studying, and I was so into trying to learn different fades and different cuts that I really disregarded the educational side in barber college. So let me be an example to the people that's in barber college right now to really break down and take that serious and get all you can, not just learning how to cut hair, but learning the sanitation and actually being in the book so you don't have to go through failures that can be avoided for sure.
Well said, man. Well said. Now, there's an incident that occurred during this process of going to college.
Yeah. Yep, it was just like a regular day. I was actually going to barber college, and we had this thing where we had to be at school before 8:45. And if you was a minute late, and this week he was cracking down on us.
Was it in the
Because
morning
it was in
or?
the morning.
Okay.
In the morning, we had to be there before 8:45, and if you wasn't there, uh, you usually had to pay like an extra 5 or 10 or whatever that was charged to your card that you clocked in with. But this particular day, I had got sent home, so I would have been in school just cutting hair, doing my normal one too. But I was at home, and they used to tell us at barber school, hey, we ain't gonna tell you not to cut hair outside of school, but it's illegal, and we don't. What I'm saying, if you do cut hair out of school, we gonna act like you don't. You know what I mean? And I was cutting hair before I even went to barber college, so that was just a thing I was doing regardless. I didn't care. So this particular day, I ended up having an individual come that needed a haircut, and after I got done cutting his hair, I overheard his ride say that they was gonna be like, like 30, 40 minutes late picking him up. So out the kindness of my heart, I just offered my guy a ride. But I knew that this individual was like, into whatever he was into. So I had a fishbowl, and the car, I didn't even have a car. A car was given to me a week beforehand for free. It was a '08 all red Chevy Cobalt. And shoot, I'm riding around. I'm thinking I'm riding around like it's a Lexus. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't tell me nothing. It was a free car. I was just grateful. So as I'm pulling out the driveway, my friend Dede, he pulls up in a car with tint. And I could have at that moment told the guy like, hey, I know you be into certain stuff. You could hop in the car with him and pay him the $5. But me not thinking, I tell my guy, he was pulling up originally to come match me. So I'm telling him, hey, I'm gonna be down the street real quick. I'm gonna come back. You just wait here, wait for me. And I make it down the street, and I'm on 3rd Street. For people that know, Canton. It's a 4-way stop right by Gas City, and it's a stop sign. Now, mind you, before we got in the car, I told you I had a fishbowl, and I told the guy, hey, he can lean his chair back if need be, because I knew he was into certain things. So when I looked over, he was up, but he was looking like out the window. People could see straight through, and me not even thinking about it. I stop at a stop sign, and I look over. I see 2 guys on the sidewalk, and I look back, and as soon as I'm about to put my foot on the gas, I hear like a gunshot, boom. Then I hear another gunshot, boom, boom, and my elbow hits the car in the neutral. It go from dry to neutral, and I'm rubbing the engine. I got my foot on the gas, ain't going nowhere, and the car just getting shot, like boom, 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 and ain't no glass getting hit. The person they shooting at is in the passenger seat, but they're shooting on his side, like on the sidewalk. So if they wanted to, they could have just shot the glass, but I think they was just trying to scare him, so they was just shooting at the body of the car. And I remember he was yelling like, go, 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 go. And I could have made it either a right, a left, or go straight. And me not even thinking, I just went straight. And I knocked the car back in the drive, and it's some train tracks. And we go over these train tracks, and the car go in the air, and it hit the ground. And as soon as the car landed on the ground, the guy must have been standing in the middle of the street and let off one last shot. And the bullet goes through the trunk, through the back seat, through my seat. Mind you, I'm crouched down, so I feel like if I would have been like sitting up, it probably would have hit my spine. But thank God I was bent over like this, and I just felt like the most craziest power hit my body, like Thor just hit me with his hammer, and I felt my body jerk up, and I just looked down, and I seen this bullet like roll out my shirt and onto the ground. And I looked over at the guy that they were shooting at, and I'll never forget, like, the first thing he said, he was like, oh my gosh, my nigga about to die. And I looked, and in that instant, I felt like I was like in a movie, because I'm like, did this really just happen? It happened so quick, your mind can't fathom exactly what happened. This is before, like, it's blood, it's not even blood pouring out, it's like, it's just now starting, and my body just started to get real hot. But I'm still driving, this is all in the same sense. So 3rd Street, when you get to the end of 3rd Street, you get to a street called Cherry, and it cuts right through, and then the 3rd Street turns into a one-way coming the opposite direction. And I'm so out of it, I drive the car up into the one way, 3rd Street, and the car stops. So I guess one of the bullets must have hit something in the engine that caused the car to stall out. And when that happened, my guy that was in the passenger seat ended up jumping out the car, and he grabbed me. He like, man, I'm gonna try to drive. You get in the passenger seat. So mind you, this is when I'm bleeding now, and I start to see, like, you know, blood. It's real thick, like blood clots, and it ain't coming out fast, but I can see that it's drenching my t-shirt. And while I'm overheating and he's trying to move me out the driver's seat, I was about to sit down, and before my eyes could hit the ground, white man grabbed my arm and was like, "Hey man, we gotta get you to the hospital." And he was in he was a professional bike rider, you know, in that gear, in that one gear with the helmet and everything. And I'll never forget it. It just happened to be a girl I went to church with that was coming down 3rd Street, and the guy that they was shooting at in the car ended up opening up her car door and threw money at her and was like, "Can you just get my guy to the hospital? Like, I don't want him to die. Can you just get my guy to the hospital?" And I jump in her car. I got blood all on her driver door, on her seat, and she just looking like crazy. She distraught, and he just yelling at her like, "Go, go, 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 go." She's running through red lights. We were going through 12th Street. Y'all, everybody know how long 12th Street is. To get from 12th Street by the A&A store all the way up to the hill by Mercy. You know what I'm saying? That's the route that we going. And she's running red lights. We almost getting hit. She's scared the police gonna pull over. And the guy just yelling like, "Hey, just get him to the hospital. Just get him to the hospital." And I remember just thinking like, man, God, is this how my last day? This my last day? Like, and clear as day, I heard God, like a voice, just say no. And I got the most peace I ever felt in my life. I was like, as long as I see a hospital in my sight of view, I'm gonna be just fine. And this particular day, Mercy, the hill going up to Mercy was so packed. The traffic was all the way down the hill. We had to jump out the car, she had bloody money all on her and everything. Left her, and he walked with me, had my arm over his shoulder, and we walked all the way to the front of the hospital. And it just happened to be an ambulance that had like this bed that they had just got done cleaning off. And I just remember just jumping on there, and I was like, "Hey, can y'all help me? I got shot." And they all was looking like, what? And they cut my pants off. They rushed me in there as an emergency, and I was sitting in a room, and next thing you know, my grandma walks in, and she talking to me like ain't nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? This is how much faith she got. And this is what I learned. Like, man, even in the midst of like storm, bro, I'm telling you, if you just keep your eyes on him, you'll make it through some things. I done seen it firsthand. So it gave me a attitude of gratitude waking up each and every day, knowing that stuff can happen in an instant. Just being around the wrong folks, it can be just one time. So you gotta know your surroundings and be very mindful of who you are with, because you never know what other people are into. You know what I'm saying? You might just be wanting to have a good time, or you might just want to take somebody home, but you know, the wrong people see the wrong people around you. You know, you could be a liability. So that's my message to the people that, you know, they might be outside a little too much. They might just hang with this friend group and this friend group. Just be mindful that stuff can happen to the nicest, genuine people. So definitely be mindful for sure.
Man, that was crazy, man.
Crazy.
That was crazy. It's a blessing to still have you here and for you to be able to talk about this thing. So
Definitely.
again, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you made it.
That is good.
All the time. So you were only shot one time?
One time. It actually went through my back. It went through my ribs, went through 3 of my ribs, shattered my rib. And my rib fragments was like just lodged all in my lung, and it took off a little piece of my lung, which the doctor said it would end up eventually growing back. But after it healed, you know, it still feel like it's like a healed like tunnel. Like I still feel not the pain of a bullet, but just like hard. How can I explain it? I don't know, kind of like an inside, like a scab, if you will. You know, if you get a scar, if you get like a wound, anything, get cut wide open and it heals back and it feel hard a little bit.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel, like just a little tunnel. But I definitely had nerve damage. I didn't realize how many nerves was located by our ribs. So it's numb in some areas, but I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful. I I'll take the wounds than me not being here, because it's definitely a purpose. It's a purpose why I'm here, and I'm grateful to be here.
Most definitely. What was the surgery and recovery process like?
Um, so the guy told me that they had to go in. They was just gonna do a quick surgery. They put me to sleep too. This is my first surgery ever. Um, they put me to sleep. They was gonna go in, take all of the fragments of the broken bones, and they stitched up a piece of my lung, and they put two um, tubes to drain my lungs. But it was crazy because it was a whole experience. Then the two tubes that was put into me, one was on the top of my lung, the other one was on the bottom, and it was connected to this box that had like these numbers, like a measuring cup. And as soon as it was filled with liquid that came from my lung. But this was all the healing process. But the whole time, my lung would be collapsing. That was the whole thing. I lost 4 pints of blood, and my lungs collapsed. So when you lose a lot of blood, you're very, very exhausted. It could be the slightest thing. You can go to the bathroom, it'll feel like you worked a 12-hour shift, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're just real tired. So I always tell people the worst part about the recovery was getting a blood transfusion. Thank God I'm O positive, so I can get anybody's blood, but they got to give it to you while it's cold. So if you can think about a brain freeze, I had to deal with that for like 2 hours. I was like, oh my goodness, in my veins, just everything. You know, the IVs, they was sticking me because they had me walking after 2 or 3 days of me being in the hospital, but the first day, you know, they kept sticking me in my stomach and on my arm. Because they didn't want me to have blood clots, because they didn't know how long I was going to be on bed rest. So I didn't sleep. I was in there that happened June 24th, 2023, and I left out the hospital on my own will July 3rd, because every day after my lungs started to heal, they would tell me I was going home, and it started to mess with me. And every end of the day, they'd be like, oh, no, we got to stay. We got to do this. We got to do this. And at the time, this is 2021, COVID was still going on heavily. So they didn't really have too much room in the hospital in the first place. So I was getting put into heart surgery rooms. I was getting put into anywhere on the 10th floor, which was crazy. I actually can tell you, I was in a room until I left with a guy that had a stroke, and he couldn't speak for himself. And he always had like this urine bag that would burst on the floor, and it had he would be pressing this button and they would not come but I pressed the button and they would come, and I would tell them like, hey man, he been pressing this button for like an hour, like y'all ain't gonna help him. So I seen how people that are sick go through like this thing where, you know, they mad that they're sick, and then other people are just doing the job. So it's like it's no healing really going on. And I started to realize that in the hospital, staying there for umpteen days. It was a guy across the hall laying on his stomach all day, screaming for help. And I was so scared to go to sleep. I'm like, man, I don't want to go to sleep and die in my sleep. Like, so I had my mom bring me headphones every single day while my nurse would be coming in 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. I had my headphones in, writing music. That's all I was doing, writing music. She'd be like, what are you doing up? We got to change this, we got to change that. What you doing up? I'm like, man, I can't go to sleep. Like, I can't go to sleep. That was the longest I never slept. That was like 4 or 5 days. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool.
Wow.
But that was the experience in itself. I thought they was trying to kill me. But let me fast forward to the end of the hospital stay. It happened to be a day. It was a Friday, and we still had barber college. We still had school. And everybody was praying for me. People were sending stuff. People were sending me cash out, all type of stuff, because I couldn't do nothing with work, and I still had to pay my bills. So shout out to everybody that had sent me cash out. But it was a day that they told me that I was gonna leave, and for all of them days I was there, I couldn't have no visitors. That was the worst part. So my last day there was the first day I could have a visitor, and my grandmother and my sister came, and the first thing the nurse said when she walked in was like, hey, yeah, we're gonna have to keep him another day. And I was like, I can't stay another day. I haven't got no sleep. I haven't been eating. I don't feel like I feel like y'all did y'all job with the surgery and with the blood transfusion, but I feel like I could heal faster with people that actually genuinely care about me. So yeah, what do you got going on? But I felt like I needed to leave. So I remember them. I went against the doctor. I went against the nurses. They was like, yo, you know, if you leave the hospital today, we're not going to be able to treat you with any therapy, or we're not going to be able to give you nothing. And if your lung collapse again, we're going to have to, you know, redo everything that we done, and you're going to have to pay for it out of pocket. Just trying to scare me into staying in the hospital. But I'm like, I'm praying to God. I'm like, God, am I supposed to leave today? I got to leave today. I'm like, man, I know this is God talking to me. I gotta leave. And I ended up, they ended up talking to the nurse, and they ended up unhooking me. And when they unhooked me, they didn't even know it was air seeping into my body. And you only supposed to have air in your lungs, but it was air seeping into my body through the tubes because they didn't have the clamps tight enough. So I could have got an infection or whatever, if I would have stayed there any longer. So I could feel the pain of stuff not being right, you know what I'm saying? And I just in my mind I already had set in stone that I was gonna leave. So after arguing with the nurse and the doctor for like 15 minutes, they finally took the tube out. When they took the tube out, so much air, my whole side, it sounded like a fart. Like so much air came out my side. I was standing up at the time, and I got lightheaded, and I almost took a step back, and I was like, God, like, should I stay? Like, did I just tell them to take that out? And I'm about to like collapse like right here. And I took a breath. I sat down for a second. I took 2 more breaths, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm cool. And my grandma was like, well, where you want to go? I said, well, can you take me to the barber college? And that was the first place I went. And when I walked in, I smelled like straight hospital. Nobody cared. They embraced me with open arms, man. Shout out Diamond Bird. She was in the hospital same time I was in there, and she snuck out her room against the doctor's permission and came and seen me. So shout out Diamond Bird, man. I always love her for that. But everybody embraced me with open arms. They was like, man, we were so scared when we found out you got shot. They ain't know what to do because they was like, bro, we couldn't put 2 and 2 together, bro. You just a neutral dude. We just don't understand how it happened. I was like, wrong place, wrong time. But shoot, shout out Mr. Rodney. He put me right by a speaker. He was like, man, we got to get your vibrations up. I was like, man, they wasn't playing no music at the hospital, bro, and was playing all soul music. And I was just sitting there drinking silver, which was prescribed to me. They was like, hey man, you put silver, a drop of silver in your water, and bro, it helped me heal quick, bro. So we was outside by the time 4th of July came. I was stumbling, but I got to enjoy that, bro. And by the grace of God, bro, we here today. We here today, man.
What
a year later,
yeah.
I got shot June 24th, 2022, and I had my son June 23rd, 2023.
Wow.
So
that's
how God showed me He was there.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, man.
What a testimony, man.
God is good.
All the time. So let's talk about graduating barber college.
Graduating barber college. Like I said, bro, I had failed the 7th time, so I did get to a point after I graduated. I was like, dog, man, do I gotta find a different trade? Like, it's like, is this what I'm supposed to do? But then I locked in and I really studied and I passed. And after that, like, I felt like I could do anything. Because before I had my license, I didn't really want to be in the shop. I was still cutting in the basement. My son was still new, freshly born. And I was just trying to be a support at home. So I was avoiding just being in the shop. And Mr. Ryder like, man, come to the shop, man, because you're still in the process of getting your license. So, you be cool. And shoot, I ended up coming down here. I ended up getting my license, coming down here, and it was up from there. The difference between cutting in the basement and at your crib and at the shop is 2 different things, because at the crib, you only want a certain select few people to come to your place of residence where you lay your head at, where you got your people, your kid, your girl. And I was able to take walk-ins, which is a whole, if you a bar, that's a whole different bag. Because if people cancel, people show up late, you can squeeze in some extra money. So I was glad I was able to get the opportunity to come right down here. And shoot, blessed enough to be here for 3.5 years, man.
Where we at?
We at Era Barbershop. Every race allowed. 131 Cleveland Avenue. Canton, Ohio. You can't miss us. We're right down across the street from the court. Open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. And we even have 2 or 3 barbers that come in on Sundays. Come check us out. Come check us out.
Any last words?
I first of all, Elijah, I want to thank you because we go back.
Yeah.
This is one thing people don't know. I seen him. He was literally one of the first people I seen after I got shot, and you've always been an encouragement. I always loved your energy.
Thank you.
You are one of the few people that execute exactly what they say they're gonna do.
Thank you.
And that never goes unseen. And just how you pour into people, we're gonna pour back into you by supporting you, sharing, and tapping into the clothing brand, bro. Shop Strangers Club, bro. We've been shopping since 2019. You know what I'm saying? When did you start Strangers Club?
The year we graduated.
Okay.
I started 2019.
So 2019.
Yeah.
EST 2019. Come on, man.
But I'm transitioning to only doing collabs
Okay.
and just doing special requests like customs, cause it costs too much money.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm getting into the journalism world and getting people stories like yours
Yeah, man.
out to inspire other people, so that I'm
Sure.
still able to impact the community. Not only by doing this, but like hosting events. Like I got a basketball tournament coming up.
Yeah.
Partnering with D-Quill and Wavy
That's hard.
and
That's what's
Connor Hughes. He one of the trainers for Darren Peterson.
Yeah.
Who projected to be #1 in next year's draft. So
Yeah, sir.
yeah,
Shout out DP.
for sure, man.
Putting on for the 330.
Absolutely. So yeah, man. I'm still pushing. It's just that I'm driving a different vehicle while doing that, and this time it's a camera instead of clothes. So
Come on, man.
yeah.
Come on, man.
Any last words for the youth, man?
For the youth, man. I ain't gonna lie. It might sound so nonchalant, but anything you really put your mind to, you can actually accomplish.
Whether it's
And
negative or positive.
Whether it's negative or positive, I'm telling you, you go all in and you willing to fail, bro, you gotta succeed. You ain't gonna continue to fail. You gotta succeed. And them L's is lessons. That's all it is. But if whatever you want to do, bro, put your all into it and keep God first. That's the
Amen.
main thing. That's one thing a
For
lot of people
sure.
fail to
For
realize,
sure.
man. Most of the most successful people right now, they faith based. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people like to believe in all different types of stuff. Hey, I believe Jesus Christ.
Amen. You better say
You
it.
better believe.
Better
You better
know
believe. I'm a witness right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't shy to say it.
Better know it.
So definitely keep God first. Be who you needed. That's what somebody told me, and that really resonated with me, man. Be who you needed growing up. So you can be the example to kids that you know, we don't go through what we go through for us. It's always for example, as far as to be a testimony to other people that might think they're the only ones or they're isolated. But it's a big world out here. I want y'all to think bigger and do bigger things, man. And I love y'all. Shout out, man. This is Canton, Ohio, bro. This is big, bro. This is glorious. I'm glad to even be a part of this right here.
Definitely.
I appreciate you having me, man.
For
Shout
sure,
out Strangers
man.
Club.
For sure, man. Appreciate you, Kris. And until next time, man, keep going.
Come on, man.